Citi Business Festival concludes Value Chain Forum as stakeholders push for a policy for the sector as it draws to an end its forum for the Citi Business Festival.
I want the listeners who are very young to know that there are lots of opportunities in the value chain. They can go into the production straight away.
Welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. We'll continue with our live coverage of the Asset North by-election, and we start with the whole day, what has transpired. We'll bring you a comprehensive report from our correspondent, Calvis Tete, who's been on the field from the first hour.
On the morning of June 27, the atmosphere was charged as constituents of Assin North eagerly joined long and winding queues to exercise their right to vote and select a representative for the upcoming 2024 elections. At precisely 7 a.m., the elections commenced simultaneously across the 99 polling stations within the Assin North constituency. A total of 41,180 registered voters actively participated, casting their ballot to choose a leader for the constituency. However, the peaceful voting process was interrupted by allegations made by the National Democratic Congress accusing the New Patriotic Party of distributing money to sway the votes of constituents. Swiftly, the MPP refuted these claims, denouncing them as false and accusing the NDC of spreading misinformation.
There's an ongoing money sharing by the New Patriotic Party has been written broad daylight. We've been here for so long as far as by-election is concerned. Yes, in a run-up to their campaign, they were sharing money. And we sent them caution that we don't want to see that during the election. And they never heard, I mean, they didn't take it into consideration. As we speak, they are still sharing. One voter take 200 Ghana. It depends. One voter take 100 Ghana. And it's quite unfortunate. Why is our democracy turning like this? Something that can be your civil rights, it's now turned to bargaining.
No, I've said that there's no substance in what they are putting across. We are not sharing any money. But what I think is that the NDC is rather preparing the grounds to reject the results. They are going to lose. They see imminent defeat staring them in their faces. So for that matter, they would want to put together this narrative and then say that, look, the MPP is sharing money, and that is the reason why maybe they lost the elections. Look, they have lost the elections, that is it. We have not shared any money. I'm the national organizer. We have rather waged an effective campaign. We had just about 2 weeks to campaign. Our candidate has really proven that he is indeed popular because of his philanthropic nature. He's done a lot for the constituency. And then we as an MPP, we have also executed a number of projects in this constituency. We've been going around, myself and NADMO Director General, I've been going around from morning up to now. So far we can say that the atmosphere is very calm, it's conducive. We just have 2 more hours to go to end of polls. It is the expectation of every Ghanaian that these elections will end peacefully, and it is our commitment from the NPP that these elections will end peacefully. Nothing but peace, yes.
Amidst these political tensions, 2 individuals were apprehended for impersonating a community protection assistant and a military officer. Rumors circulated alleging the involvement of Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ohene-Ejapong, in orchestrating the impersonation of the military personnel. In response, MP Ejapong vehemently denied these allegations, criticizing the NDC for disseminating false information instead.
The regional minister just showed it to me. I don't even know who that person is. But it's all over news that I have sent the gentleman, with uniform for what? I'm rather going around calming people down, because this is only one constituency. Why should there be violence? And I'm surprised. I just heard this. That's I was going to pursue and I made a U-turn. I don't know the person. See, but what I will entreat the media to do is, you always have to verify. At least, if you give me opportunity as you are doing now, you know the truth before you carry it. Now, this damage all of you have done, how many people will hear my response?
At Asin Praso, a clash ensued between 2 groups of macho men believed to be the MPP and NDC sympathizers at Asin Praso DA school, resulting in gunshots being fired and brawls exchanged. 1 person got injured in the process. Here are some eyewitnesses speaking to the media about the issue.
Came here and then we met some people here trying to cause a mayhem. So we tried to calm the situation down. Later, we saw some force coming, and then Muntumi was the lead. He was just here and trying to command his guys to go and beat someone here. So they chased him up here and they start firing guns. So they shot the individual? Yes, where the filling station is, just there. They fired the gun, but unfortunately, I don't know the guy. I think was being kakra. So the gun. They rushed on him and then they started beating him.
Voting started well within the hours of 11 to 12 a.m. Then we saw a black Land Cruiser with a tall speed entering the area where the voting is taking place. Then the gentleman came out of the car and started running. We didn't know, and we didn't know the identity of that gentleman. So the police were able to stop him and were asking him. Few seconds, then we saw a pickup loaded with metro guys, believed to be ours. And so, not knowing that there was a scaffold that had taken place already at Presby School or the Presby Church. So, following that, the guy was being chased, so he ran to the police rescue where we were. Then our guys came, and then there was that macho man scaffold between the NDC and the MPP. Shortly, we got the matter resolved. But one of the gentlemen from the MPP side pulled up a sharp object and then destroyed 2 tires of our car.
How come you're having gunshots here, but you're not having gunshots elsewhere? What does it mean? It's an election. People want to intimidate our supporters. People want to scare from the morning to now. Huh? All the stronghold of the MPP. Right. There is tension there. Right. There is tension there. You take your time and go from Praso to Enja. Look at what is happening there. The tension that is brewing over all these places. Surprisingly, when you go to NDC Stronghold, Basofrinungo, the place is quiet, there is no tension there. And you have men in uniform who are supposed to make sure that there's law and order. How can people come here and be shooting? How can people come here and be slapping people left, right, center?
But Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Hassan has accused the NDC of fomenting trouble since the place is a stronghold of the MPP.
When we heard it, we got here, and in fact, it's true.
What was it?
Honestly, I don't know much about what happened. I just got to know that somebody was hurt by the NDC people. I don't know. I may not have the facts to that effect, so I cannot really speak to it. But whatever it is, this is an election, and this is not the first time we are voting in Ghana. We've been voting years. So this should not claim any life. If indeed we are Ghanaians and we are trying to exercise our franchise, we shouldn't kill anybody because we want to become an MP or whatever. So we should give people the chance to come about and then vote and vote peacefully. We don't want any intimidation. The policemen are here. I want to also commend them. We have a number of them over here to ensure that we have peace and everything is going on smoothly. So we entreat everybody who is coming here to vote to come and vote peacefully and go home. When it's time for them to come and count, they can come and witness it. There's nothing you can do about it.
However, the Central Regional Communications Officer of the NDC, Gabriela Tete, has refuted the claims, stressing that it is an orchestration of the MPP.
I believe that the witnesses have already told you the personalities who came into this polling station to come and incite violence. None of them was an NDC member. From what I have gathered, there was a black Land Cruiser that came to pass. It caused a bit of commotion because although the driver of the vehicle was operating the vehicle, it brought attention to the vehicle. Another vehicle came and crossed it. They got down. It turned into a free-for-all on the streets of Asem Praso. How is that an NDC problem? How many black Land Cruisers do we have in the NDC party to be dropping macho men in the middle of the street to incite violence? The reason why they will do this is because, yes, this is their stronghold, and they've realized that the people have decided not to toe the line like blind sheep. So they've come to realize that they are losing their hold on this police centers. And so obviously they will incite violence to make people feel threatened, insecure, and will not want to come out to vote.
So still stay with this story as we bring you our special coverage of the Assin North by-election, and we know that the coalition is currently underway in the Assin North elections after voting officially closed at 5 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, residents thronged the centers to observe sorting and counting amidst cheers and cheers as count for each aspirant was announced. Let's take you live to Assin North. We are joined by our Central Regional Correspondent, Calvis Tete, to give us the latest from the Coalition Center. Calvis, if you can hear me and see me, welcome to our continuous coverage of the Assin North by-election. What is the latest with regards to coalition?
Well, Vivian, the Electoral Commission officials are still collating the results, collating the figures. We are waiting for them to give us the final figures as we speak. But currently, we have some leading members of the new National Democratic Congress here in the Coalition Center. For the New Patriotic Party, I have not seen much of them here. We hear they are on their way coming. The Electoral Commission officials are still collating the figures. There is tight security outside, so not anyone can get access to the Coalition Center. Before you get to the Coalition Center, I think they go through before you get here. They check your accreditation to ensure that you are qualified to be at the Coalition Center before you get here. So it's actually a difficult task getting here. So we don't find a lot of party people here. Those that matter are the ones we are seeing here.
Right. So we can't see much of the NPP folks there, but more of the NDC folks. What's the atmosphere like? It appears that it's more of the NDC who are continuing with the exercise.
Yes, Vivian, you know, the results that have come in already, from the results that we have seen already, the NDC seems to be winning in some of the areas. I believe is one of the factors that is contributing to not seeing the MP people here. Although the Electoral Commission has not officially declared the winner, but we are still hoping that the MPP people will be here to ensure that the process is successful. I have with me here the Member of Parliament for Buem, Honorable Kofi Adams, just here to speak to us. Sir, what do you make of today's process?
Well, today's process is a conclusion of a number of weeks of work that we did in this constituency since the announcement for us to come back again and seek the mandate of the people of Asenof. They have spoken, and they spoke on the side of truth. We worked hard. We engaged them. We told them our story because we had a story to tell. We had a candidate that was so respected and loved by the people. We had a candidate that also respected his people. And so that alone was a plus for us. We deployed the right strategy on the ground, and we utilized the human resource available to us in sending our message. Our leader from Parliament also showed leadership, Dr. Kiselato Fosun, in terms of galvanizing all of us and picking material from within Parliament that he knows understand this game to help mobilize and lead that process. And at the end of the day, it had paid so well for us.
Well, then again, the figures that are coming in, what do you make of these figures?
Well, the figures is an indication because we have done so well in polling stations that I would say we used not to do well. Even when we won this constituency, both presidential and parliamentary, in 2012, we did not perform as good as we did this time around. And you know, in 2016, we lost both presidential and parliamentary. In 2020, December, we won parliamentary and lost presidential to the New Patriotic Party. This time round, we have done so well. Our votes reduced this by-election by less than 200, whilst MPP lost more than 2,000 votes as compared to what they got in the year 2020 December. So it should tell you something, that there's a trend. And I'm happy for the trend, and I'm happy that our strategy we adopted has worked for us. We just need to correct it, check a few things, and see how we can adapt it and push it to the national level and prosecute our 2024 campaign, adapting some of those strategies.
Well, James Jachikwesin is still in court. Should he be declared the winner? How is this thing going to play out? What is going to happen?
Well, we know the fact that you are in court doesn't make you a criminal. No. It is some people who decided that they are going to go to court. When you go to court, you have to prove your case. And we are waiting to see how they can prove their case. Everybody knows, and the evidence is there, that right in November 2019, James Jachikwesin submitted his Canadian passport and requested for the renunciation process to begin, which normally doesn't take any long time. We all know if there had ever been any government in the world that have used COVID as an excuse for their failed performance, for their monumental failure, which is not the case though, then it is the New Patriotic Party of Ghana that have used COVID as a major excuse. One is wondering why that same party in government using COVID as an excuse feels that COVID cannot be a reason why another country did not attend to someone's documentation as quickly as they should do. James Jachikwesin didn't hide anything from anybody. The Electoral Commission knew at the time they were allowing him to contest his status, submitted his documentation. They saw that he received his certificate in November of 2020, even though he had presented same in November of 2019. So they knew he never lied to anybody. At the time he took his oath to become a member of parliament before Mr. Speaker, the Speaker of this country, as enshrined in the Constitution, he swore that oath as a Ghanaian and not as a Canadian. So we are waiting to see what will happen, what they are going to be proving, what ingredients they will be proving in court. So we are more than convinced that the whole arrangement was intended to put fear in the Asin people. It is not because they had any case. It was an arrangement to put fear in the Asin people that, oh, you love Kwesi so much, so don't vote for him, because if you do, he will go to jail. The president himself constituted himself into a court and came to Asin here to announce. Can you imagine? This is a president who has presented himself as a lawyer and a human rights fighter, not knowing all that was charade. All that we have known of this president was charade. To come so desperate, needing to win, to lead an attack, as the president who swore oath to abide by the constitution, to conclude that a citizen of this country who is seeking a right to represent his people will be jailed. Can you imagine? But we know that not only the God we serve, but the good people of this country will let conscience and justice prevail, as the people of Asin North have done.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, so that is the Member of Parliament for Will, who's there right there as we spoke to him. According to me, he's hoping that the Electoral Commission in some few hours' time or some few minutes' time will declare James Gyakye Kwesi the winner of this election.
All right. Thank you very much, Calvis. We'll return to you in a bit, hoping that by the time we come to you, the Electoral Commission will be ready to declare the results, or they'll be declaring the results. So we'll return to you, Calvis, in a bit. Our Central Regional Correspondent, Calvis, at the Asin North, one of the coalition, actually the main coalition center, bringing us up to speed with the latest on the Asin North by-election. We'll stay with that, but we'll take you to Parliament proper, because on Tuesday it had to adjourn proceedings to Thursday, June 29, 2023, due to the by-election in Asin North. Now, it follows concerns of quorum raised by the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu. Now, the House on Tuesday had only 14 members of Parliament present, with 3 from the Minority Caucus and 11 from the Majority Group. So the News' parliamentary correspondent, Ni Ayikwe Okine, has more.
Per the standing orders of Parliament, 1/3 of the numbers of the House, which is 275, but currently we know that it is 274, are required to conduct business. To this end, Parliament on Tuesday could not transact business because the numbers were less than 15, 3 from the minority side and 11 from the majority side. Hence, the Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, raised concerns about the lack of quorum and called for the adjournment of the House after the laying of papers. This was seconded by the leader available for the Minority Group, James Agaga.
The presence of Parliament, and many of our colleagues are deeply involved in that enterprise. As the Speaker, I think it's significant to observe that on this occasion, that is for today's setting, the majority outnumber the minority by about 300%. About 300%. It's significant.
You get it.
Mr. Speaker, so for the questions, I guess we stand the questions down and deal with just the presentation of papers. And when we are done, I believe we may take an adjournment. So, Speaker, I would plead that we alter the business for today and deal with the presentation of papers.
The Leader of the House says they have outnumbered the minority by over 300%. The Speaker, I'm not sure that statement is very accurate. As Mr. Speaker can see, the Honorable Podo is here. I'm here. I'm representing. I'm the available leader. My brother is here with me. So our numbers are increasing. I'm sure by the time we rise. But Mr. Speaker, that said, it's obvious that we are not properly constituted to transact any meaningful business. But before we even get to the point of taking those objections, if it's about the presentation of papers, I don't think that should cause us any injury. And so we may yield, and then we can do the presentation, and we take it up from there.
The Majority Leader, Osei Mensah Bonsu, and the Member of Parliament for Doma West, Vincent Opoasamwa later spoke to journalists on the by-elections in Asen North.
The one who emerges victorious may win with a very narrow margin in hundreds and not thousands. So that's my own perception of what's going to go on there. What I observed was that on the main roads, because I spent some time, about 2 days in the communities along the main roads. Those are major settlements. My impression is that the NDC, the NPP is on top in those areas. But I would say in the region of about 60 to 40% in favor of the NPP. I went to some of the village settlements, and to be honest, there I saw that the NDC, the 3 settlements that I visited, it appears the NDC is also stronger in those communities. I would say there about 55 to 45% in favor of the NDC in those the 3 rural communities that I visited. And that is why I'm saying that's going to be a dicey, very close contest. I believe that it will triumph. But as I said, it can't be in thousands. It will be a few hundreds.
I also went to some of the villages, and if you ask, I would say we are also ahead of them. After 5 o'clock, you know what the figures will be coming out. We will know exactly what is going to happen. I think they love Jokwesi so much. They like Kwesi so much, and looking at what he's going through, especially the media, the legal front, most of them would like to vote for him. At least they are saying that they even want another by-election because they know once it's by-election, MPP will be there and they'll pour in the resources.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Aihwe Okain for Citi News.
You're still watching the City Newsroom with me, Vivian Kailoko. When we come back, Ministry of Roads and Highways promises infrastructure works on Valco Road following agitations by tanker drivers. Stay with us. We'll be right back with our story and many others.
It is important for husbands to support their wives who test positive for HIV when they are pregnant. The assistance I got from my husband encouraged me to follow all the guidelines given by the nurses and doctors. I gave birth to an HIV-negative child. I'm therefore appealing to all men to test for HIV and encourage their wives to do the same. All pregnant women should test for HIV and follow instructions given by their healthcare providers. This will help them to have HIV-free babies. Men and women, let's work together to have an HIV-free generation.
Our children must be free to shine.
Finally, anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You Go Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. You Go Flip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
And you're welcome back to the City Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. Let's bring you some more stories. The Ministry of Roads and Highways has assured members of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union of the commencement of infrastructural works on the Volta Aluminium Company Limited Road in Tema. This follows an ongoing indefinite sit-down strike by the union over concerns of poor road network, which is impacting negatively on their well-being and their vehicles. We have more in this report.
Members of the National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union and Liquefied Petroleum Gas LPG tanker drivers are still embarking on the industrial action to press home their demands on government to fix their poor road network, which has many loading terminals, despite assurances made by the government after a delegation from the Ministry of Roads and Highways met the leadership on Tuesday to ascertain the state of the road. The union says it will continue with the strike until works commence on the Volta Aluminium Company Limited Valco Bone Road in Tema. The Vice Chairman of the National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Union, Sunday Alabi, expressed their resolve not to abort their strike until they see the beginning of works on the road.
The minister has sent his delegates to come to see how things are. So we took them to the road to see the nature of the road. And what they saw, they cannot even talk. So they said they will take the information, the issues back to the minister so that we'll schedule a meeting and then they will come and work on it immediately. But for us, we stand where we stand until the commitment is done. We see that there are machines on the road. We are still waiting for them to do that before we go back to work. We are rather helping the government because if, God forbid, there's a rollover of a gas tanker or fuel tanker, we have closer to the township, closer to the depots, new town closer to the depots. So any leakage or any spillage, and it can invite fire. So when there's a fire in any of the depots, the whole Tema will get burnt. And then what happened in the western, the explosion happened in the western region, has taught us a lesson. That is why we don't want the government to go through what they went through in the western region. So we are rather helping the government not to go through such an incident again. That is why we decided to put our tools down for them to fix the road before we continue the work.
Mr. Alabi also noted that the ministry will be meeting the union on Thursday about their concerns.
There's a meeting scheduled again on Thursday, so until then we cannot speak much on the issue. So we are just waiting patiently for them because in this situation, there's nothing we can do. We are rather helping the government not to incur any debts again. So I will tell my members that they should wait patiently. We know they want to work and help the development of the country. But as we speak, our safety is most important to everybody. And then in safety, they say safety lies in your own hands. So we want to hold it in our own hands and make sure we work safely in a safe environment. Because in our training, we need to work in a safe environment. But what we see now is not safe for us. That's why we want it to be fixed before we continue the work.
Now, the coalition of individual bondholders has urged the government to settle all outstanding principals and coupons by Friday, June 30, 2023. Now, this follows the government's failure to implement a memorandum of understanding between it and the coalition of individual bondholders executed on June 16, 2023. We have more on this report.
Government has also been urged to fast-track the memoranda on Treasury bill conversion of maturing bonds from June and beyond for the consideration of members of the coalition by June 30, 2023. The coalition of individual bondholders represents a group of bondholders who refused to tender their bonds under the government's domestic debt exchange program. Since the implementation of the program, the individual bondholders have been back and forth with the government over the payment of coupons and principals. According to the MOU signed between the parties, government agreed to complete payment of coupons in arrears as of 31st May 2023 by June 30, 2023, while coupons that fell due from 1st June 2023 are paid promptly. There was also an agreement to reprofile maturing bonds as and when they fell due into Treasury bills at prevailing interest rates. In a letter cited by Citi News, the coalition of individual bondholders have expressed disappointment at the government's failure to begin implementation of the memorandum. They have therefore urged government to demonstrate a sense of responsibility and pay the outstanding coupons and principals.
You're still watching the City Newsroom with me, Vivian Kailoko. When we come back, low patronage leaves livestock traders unhappy and worried ahead of Eid celebrations. So stay with us, we'll be right back.
Yes, we are back. Wines of South Africa, Rosa, is back in Ghana for the biggest wine show ever. Date, Saturday 15th July at the Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra. Time, 7 p.m. sharp. Wines of South Africa Grand Tasting Event 2023 is proudly brought to you by Wines of South Africa and John Williams Consults Ghana. This event is sponsored by Ghana Export Promotion Authority and Best National Bank. Partners, South African High Commission, Accra, South African Airways, and Labadi Beach Hotel. Media partners, AmayalDebra.com, Citi FM, Citi TV, Voyage Afrique Magazine, and Ovation Magazine. Don't miss out on this extraordinary event by securing your tickets now at bossa2023.eventbrite.com or call 0553-271-032. Remember to come celebrate with Wines of South Africa, Saturday, 15th July 2023, 7 p.m. at Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra. Wines of South Africa, welcome to our world of discovery. Strictly by invitation and reserved for 18 years and above.
And you're welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, with just a few hours remaining until the celebration of the Eid al-Adha, numerous Muslims nationwide expressing their concerns about the high cost of acquiring sacrificial animals. Now, Eid al-Adha is an important Islamic festival that involves the act of sacrifice, which is a religious obligation for Muslims. Animals such as sheep, cows, and camels are commonly used for this purpose. Now, this year, many Muslims are voicing their dissatisfaction with the prices of these animals, deeming them excessively high. Our correspondent, Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira, visited the Pusaka cattle market in the Nanumba North municipality of the northern region to assess the situation.
Eid al-Adha, a religious occasion where Muslims are required to sacrifice animals, is an integral part of Islamic practice. According to Allah's command to the Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, Muslims are obliged to fulfill this religious duty by sacrificing animals, including sheep, cows, and camel. The ongoing celebration is currently threatened by the prevailing economic conditions, which have contributed to a surge in prices of various goods and services. With only 2 days remaining until Eid al-Adha, many Muslims are yet to purchase their sacrificial animals. In order to evaluate the situation, City News visited the market where cattle are being traded. At Pusoga Cattle Market, customers expressed their discontentment with the high cost associated with purchasing animals. For instance, cattle that were priced 3,000 cedis last year are now being sold at prices ranging from 7,000 to 8,000 cedis. City News engaged with several potential buyers who shared their frustrations regarding the inflated prices.
This year the prices are not easy at all, considering a lot of factors, difficulty of animal moving from neighboring Burkina, even around Bolga due to the cattle disease there. Many of the people where animals normally come from, this year the export is low.
This year calling the price like 7,000, 6,000. The cow that we used to buy 4,000, 3,000 It's now 7,000, 6,000. I don't know what to do. So from KJB to here, if I buy that cow 4,000, 7,000, how much will I make my lorry fare to that place?
The prices are exorbitant. The same size we bought last year for at least 3,500, 8,000. So today, 6,000, 7,000.
Interestingly, the cattle sellers inform Citi News that they are experiencing profitable business transactions.
Na dama jela ni ma kanna kabin darma me kanna dama nguna alhamdulillah tipere nama buso kam nanu mudambala temanye bimbila buso kam ama bin yo dama na ke ka dama contuni
dama tin jirlma da vielchite to amma ban darma to fa bandame te me za ba yurme ai chan na ta do an yi shelna ali la an yi shelna ka kwahra
dama tun palma din yanci kama dai ka dama ka nir kan ngumro bun kobu ka no to Canada ne ntida be din nan ya ka anye kama so bi ne na mu su malo ko li ro yan can ka tankar ne so wai kana garce ma ne.
Customers seeking to purchase sheep also expressed their concern about the high prices. Sheep which previously sold for prices between 1,000 and 1,002 cedis are now being sold for prices ranging from 2,000 to 3,000 cedis. Here are some customers sharing their experiences with Citi News.
The prices, we can't say is all that high because of the Eid al-Adha. Just because maybe there is no money in the system. That has made it difficult for all of us maybe to purchase it. And I think the price is also cool because this one like this, they are saying 2,000 Ghana cedis, this one. And if you look at the price, it's very high as compared to the meat that is having.
The system is said that there's no regulatory body. So everybody says to whatever it thinks, and others are looking at the problems and they are pricing the animals towards what they also want to go and solve. And that's the issue. So as there is no regulatory body, you also come and with that understanding, you also enter into the market. They say A, you say B. They say C, you say K. So that at a point you all come to an agreement.
Although incidents of animal theft have been reported in this vicinity, customers visiting the Pusoga cattle market can be assured of purchasing genuine animals. Amadou Ahmed, the chief of the Fulanis in this area, provided reassurance to the customers.
Ning Daniela kamang so kam dine. Tigbatin ning dema dong tifulan bi pambe sebi katuma. Intini betima nam. Agba afosin me di yang pamsi bantima lulushe ma di toni chende. Ka agba mabihima ka benye tumatunda. Inti lingang kamandinya garchango. Anya kamandada mabasa saru. Dinya dinyela tuma. Anto zang nahuna ka alo. Ni be korna huma amala 50 cedi di pone. Bi aya marbu sa ote ko ara. Diza de nyala tuma di pone. Bi kama loading boys di nyala tuma di pone.
We are here at the Pusoa cattle market to see what the prices of cattle are. With 2 days, some people are not yet able to buy their cattle. They complain of high prices. And the sacrifice is a religious one, which means that it is a must-do obligation for Muslims. So whatever the price is, they have to sacrifice to make or to buy their animals. From Pusoa Cattle Market, Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira, reporting for Citi News.
And I wish our brothers and sisters who are Muslims a happy Eid. It's still the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. Up next is CNR Business with Nashika Caesar.
Hello and welcome to CNR Business. My name is Nashika Caesar. Now, the fourth and last forum of the 2023 edition of the Citi Business Festival Forum focused on agriculture value chain. It featured speakers who disclosed understanding and leveraging agribusiness value chains and how the sector's advantages can be tapped. Here's a wrap on the forum.
The panelists
perspectives on government's agricultural potential. Kwesi Kobo, CEO of GESEL, believes that the policy direction to make agriculture more pragmatic must be mainly pushed by the private sector.
The problem we have in this country is that if you don't address the problem accurately and you come up with any set of interventions, you create more mess than you did before. And where's the problem? Because as a country, we want to be food sufficient.
Professor Roger Canton, former research scientist of the Savannah Agricultural Research Institute, SARI, cited seed provision, mechanization and transportation as critical areas for the sector's revitalization.
We cannot, there are areas that we should target for, like the socialists have shown. For maize, we are now adding soya bean. We have the capacity, right? So you leave them and support that value chain there.
Head of agribusiness at APSA, William Nete, stated that financing possibilities exist for those who wish to leverage agriculture.
Right from the input dealers, there are opportunities. So a young person like Alberta said can go into input sales.
Still on opportunities, Agric advocate and AgriHouse Foundation founder Alberta Akosa encouraged the youth to discover more creative and new ways to venture the farming business.
I want maybe the listeners who are especially young to know that there are lots of opportunities with the value chain. They can go into the production straight away.
The Citi Business Festival 2023 is powered by Citi TV and Citi FM in partnership with APSA and is proudly sponsored by MTN Momo, MTN Business and ZPay with support from GESEL. Now, in an effort to foster sustainability and the expansion of the automobile industry in Ghana, the Automobile Assemblies Association of Ghana has urged the government to swiftly enact key policies outlined in the Ghana Automotive Development Policy. The association firmly believes that the comprehensive implementation of such favorable policies will lead to significant growth by 2027. The following report has more.
During the inaugural Ghana Automotive Summit, President of the Automobile Assemblies Association of Ghana, Jeffrey Opong-Pipra, emphasized the importance of the government's involvement, specifically calling for the complete prohibition of the sale of used and salvaged vehicles within the country.
And this number accounted for 9.7% of the country's new car market. And we at AAAG, we strongly believe that with the full implementation of the Ghana Automotive Development Policy, this can grow to around 60% by 2027.
In his response to these appeals, Minister of Trade and Industries, Katie Hammond, expressed the government's commitment to creating a supportive environment for the industry.
About a 30% tax issue, 35% tax issue, and the importation of older cars into the country. The President has spoken about it, and the Ministry has taken notice. They would be dealt with as a priority. Together, we are fully invested in this vision.
And that's it for CNR Business. My name is Nashika Caesar.
You're still watching the City Newsroom with me, Vivian Kai. Local. We'll take a final look at the Assin North by-election with current happenings over there. We'll go straight to our correspondent, Calvin Stetted, as it wraps up for this part on our live coverage. Calvin, if you can hear me, what more can you tell us, or what's the latest?
Well, Vivian, the Electoral Commission in some few minutes will be giving us the final result of the election. They are done with the collation of the figures. We are expecting that in a minute or two to get working and give us the final result. Up until now, we still can't find some members of the new people around. The people I see here are mostly the National Democratic Congress party members. This is what is happening currently. We are just waiting for the Electoral Commission
to give us the final result.
Right. So what's the atmosphere like?
Well, Vivian, the atmosphere here is quite peaceful atmosphere in the sense that there are no noise here because they didn't allow some other party people who are not qualified to be here to actually enter the collation center. So the atmosphere is quite here. People are just going about their normal activities. Particularly the National Democratic Congress are the ones I'm seeing here. The new Patriotic Party members, I can't find them here, but the Electoral Commission says with or without them, they will still go ahead and make the final declaration.
All right, Calvin, we'll come to you a bit, and we're wrapping up with the City Newsroom, so we'll come to you in a bit and take the next coverage for our special coverage of the Assin North by-election. But thank you so much. You've done a great job, and we'll return to you in a bit. Well, that's it for today's edition of the City Newsroom. Before we go, let's give you a recap of some of our top stories. The Electoral Commission, in a few minutes, announce the winner of the Assin North by-election. Ministry of Roads and Highways promises infrastructure works on Valco Road following agitations by tanker drivers. Coalition of individual bondholders urges the government to settle all outstanding principals and coupons by Friday, June 30, 2023. Low patronage leaves livestock traders unhappy and worried ahead of Eid celebration. Visit our website, citynewsroom.com. We have more on the Assin North elections and many other stories. Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from City TV. And we'll continue with our special coverage of the Assin North by-election. Umaru Sanda Amadou takes up the battle from this moment. But for now, my name is Vivian Kai. Thank you so much for joining us.
The point of view. If cabinet ministers have been accused of sabotaging a major government program, which almost every day was in the news, how come we haven't heard anything